Welcome to week 2 of rural valuation. In this module, what we're going to be doing is introducing you to the question of the land, or rather focus on the idea of land as an important component. And it is probably the most important component of your rural valuations. And so it needs a focus which we often don't put on urban lands, especially if we live in towns or cities where, or first thing you do with land is dig it up and turn it into a basement and sort of plant some very tall building on it and so on. And so here we're going to just introduce that issue. And so it's going to be a reading week. Most of the unit is. As you do this unit, also give a bit of thought, if you haven't already, to making contact with a rural valuer and arrange a site visit, because the sooner you get to do that, the sooner you'll get to the really important and interesting part. Read the textbook, and as we've mentioned before, start to look at the media related to agricultural or rural Australia. And so there is a number of those, whether it's the Land newspaper or the Mercado Net or one of the other commentators on rural enterprises. It's good to put your nose into that stuff and just start to get a little bit excited about it. If you are an urban dweller, try and think about some of the rural land uses and maybe do a little bit of recreational reading on a land use of your choice. If you fancy yourself as having in some way an interest in beef production, then read something about how the Australian cattle industry is going. If you're a vegan, you might want to look at what we're doing in the area of wheat production or sugarcane or whatever. But pick on a rural land use, perhaps one nearby or one that somehow you might have some fancy for, and see if you can learn a little bit about it, because getting that familiarity is very important. So that's the background, if you like, but especially for this week, give some thought as to how important the land is and how you can understand it a bit better. Maybe aim this week to learn a bit of terminology related to the land, give some thought to the kind of data resources that would be useful, and so on.